Hey, good Wednesday morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Hey, how about hitting the share button so we can share this great weather with everybody? That is if you like 70s and 80s and mostly dry weather into the end of September and maybe even into the first week of October. So here we go. Let's get on into it and show you what's going on in the weather. Again, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Now, today I need to preface that when you look at the satellite picture, it looks a little rough. There's some patches of clouds and they're a little bumpy, and through the center of the state right now, it looks like some showers are starting to build right in the heart of the state, Alma to Mount Pleasant, heading towards Saginaw and the Thumb. And I do have to remind you that it's not just as simple as looking at the radar and saying there's nothing out there. Remember, clouds first and then the raindrops develop. So when we're looking at the satellite, we're kind of looking at the precursor to some rain showers that could be developing, and it won't be much. So let's get in on to it and show you the radar right now. And we have just a light patch of showers west of the Saginaw area, around Alma or so. Hey, good morning, Tiffany Scott. Thanks for watching. And John Krajak, hopefully. Good morning. Good morning to Yogi Patterson also. Hey, thank you, Michelle Bush. Yeah, it's tropical shirt time, definitely in weather. All right, so a couple of showers now on radar. They're very light. Also look across the lake, northern Illinois, southeast Wisconsin. There's a patch of showers. So what do those do? All of the modeling indicates that those weaken somewhat, but I still think they will continue to move to the east. So as we look at our modeling, this is noon, a few showers. Sometimes I call them sidewalk wetter showers around the Saginaw Valley, around the Thumb. Could be a little more widespread than what this shows. This is a radar forecast, but Ann Arbor, Detroit area, Lansing, Jackson, you're all dry. Flint, you're probably dry. Grand Rapids, maybe a shower. Kalamazoo, maybe a shower, but you could see nothing that is very vigorous at all. Now, that model we only get for, hey, good morning, Andy Bernia. Hopefully your harvest is going good out in the Thumb. We only get that model for 18 hours. So what do we get out of this one? Now, this model, let me see if the updated one is in. It's usually coming in right about this time. Yeah, we don't have any panels of it. So we got to go back to this model. Goes out a little farther. It's a good model. It's a little more aggressive. Now remember, this model started 6 hours ago. So it's forecasting this right now, and it's too aggressive, which means that it's probably too aggressive as it gets through the area. Susan Wallace, glad to hear. Good morning from Manton. By the way, by way of GR, rained down here last night. Yep, okay. Got a few showers. So this is this afternoon, and I think in the Northeast, just based on the satellite, there's a little disturbance. You might have a shower or two. Nothing really significant, and again, not for 95% of Michigan. This is tomorrow. Looks pretty good, but it wants to develop another little patch of some showers. Again, not widespread. So I think just take it 6 hours at a time on whether you'll, maybe have a shower on your walk, your dog walk, or your bike ride, or your run, or something like that. Here is what that North American model wants to do for rainfall today, and it wants to say a ½ inch to an inch in the Northeast, up around West Branch and Tawas, the tip of the Thumb. Again, I think that might be a little overdone, but it shows you that we don't have a flawless, totally dry possibility. We have a few isolated showers, but again, not for Detroit, not for the whole Detroit area, not for Ann Arbor, not for Jackson, Lansing, probably not for most of southern Michigan. All right, now we look into the extended term and see what's going on, and I think it's just a really, really nice weather pattern in general. So this is the European model. This is into tomorrow and mostly dry. And this is Friday, definitely a work skipper Friday. This is Saturday. Saturday could be a run the boat type day. And here's Sunday. I'm sorry. Here's Sunday dry. Here's Monday dry. Next storm system, that's Wednesday morning. Hey, Paul Brady. Good morning to you also. Thanks for watching. And so sometime middle to end of next week, we might have a couple of days of showery weather. But look, this storm system doesn't even make it through. It tries to inch toward us, and then the high pressure aloft just squelches it and kills it off. So as far as rainfall goes from the European model, I'm out into Sunday, I'm into Monday, and it's Wednesday of next week before it brings a meaningful rain into the southwest part of the state and no further, almost. All right, I promised you 70s and 80s, and here it is. High temperature forecast. Off of this same model, it's about the best we can do now. Today, 75 to 80. Tomorrow, 80-ish. Friday, 80-ish. Saturday, upper 70s to near 80. I see no reason why it wouldn't be in the 80s. Sunday, probably wants to give us a little bit of an easterly wind, and there's going to be a slight lake cooling now that the lakes are starting to cool down. But otherwise, upper 70s to near 80. Monday in the 70s. Tuesday, it wants to stay in the 60s because of clouds. And next Wednesday, look at next Thursday, back to the mid-70s. Look at 10 days out. 10 days out is September 29th, folks. Hey, Kendall Bailey. Hey, I was wondering if you're going to do my winter predictions for this year anytime soon. Yes, that's a good idea because we have a couple of things to pin it on. So, yeah, we should take a look at that. And, of course, you know, the big factor is going to be El Nino. And if you look at that, it tends to bring warmer than normal conditions in winter and as a result, less snow than normal. So that's probably going to be a big factor. And then, of course, we have the warming globe, especially the polar regions, which is where our cold comes from. So how do you have a really continuous, severe winter when your cold region is warming and you have a seasonal situation called the El Nino that also points toward less harsh winter weather than normal? And I do want to preface that, you know, when we start to talk about this kind of stuff, people say, oh, I love snow, no snow. None of these things mean no winter. They mean it would be really hard to envision this winter coming up as starting mid-November, snow staying on the ground all winter, colder than normal all January and February, March, and then not ending until mid-April. It'd be really hard to envision that with this kind of thing. So breaks in the winter probably, and maybe significant breaks where you say, wow, we haven't really had much going on for a couple of weeks, and it's been pretty warm. And by warm in winter in January and February, I mean a lot of days maybe crack the freezing mark, and maybe you get, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 40-degree days in a month. So we'll have winter lovers. just may not be, you know, it won't be something like what we had back, 2013, 14, or, you know, some of the winters in the 70s people remember. So that's your forecast. Let's see. With being much warmer this year, can we expect a lot more ice storms or less ice storms? Well, warmer again would say that things would have a greater chance of being wet than white. An ice storm is just like predicting the severe weather season of the summer ahead of summer. It's all a timing thing on an ice storm on a particular day. So we wouldn't be able to predict that ahead of but I would say generally in a warmer winter, less stormy winter, you'd have less of a chance of an ice storm probably. Victoria Washburn, warmer weather means more snow. And that's the other thing. I get what you're saying, you know, because of the moisture content, but warmer weather also takes that snow that was going to fall at 31 or 32 degrees and turns it into rain at 33 or 34 or 35. So warmer weather generally means less snow if you have a warmer than normal winter. Hey, we jumped ahead. Let's just enjoy the 70s and 80s here for the next week, 2 weeks. Maybe our models, you know, we can rely on the trend of seeing kind of an upper air pattern change of out 3 to 4 weeks. We don't see it. Now the sun, the furnace of our earth, is losing its power. So that I'm not saying that we'll stay 80 for the next month because the energy is less, but we could stay above normal, which would be 70s and 80s this week, next week, transitioning down to 70s, struggling to hit to 80 a week after, transitioning down into the 60s and 70s, still being above normal at that time about a month out. Hey, you got a whole lot of weather here, and all for nothing. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. You have yourselves a great Wednesday. Bye.